Welcome to Scone Baking Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. Today, I'm sharing with you my recipe for Jammie Dodgers. Now, those of you in the U.S. are probably asking, what is a Jammie Dodger? Well, it's one of England's most favorite cookies for kids and adults alike. A Jammie Dodger is a shortbread sandwich cookie filled with a splat of raspberry jam, but you can fill it with any jam of your liking, and then they have this cute heart center. You and your kids will love making, eating, and sharing these delicious cookies, whether it's for Valentine's Day or any time of the year. So, let's bake. Okay, let's get started here. Now, shortbread cookies are really a simple recipe. Think of it as 3, 2, 1. You have 3 parts flour, 2 parts butter, and 1 part powdered sugar. And so I'm using 1 stick of butter, and for me that is 114 grams. So 1 stick of butter, 114 grams, and I'm going to grate this butter. There's all of our butter, all grated, and to that, we're going to add 174 grams of flour. Now to mix this up, we're just going to get in there with our hands and we're going to use the rubbing method. So what we're going to do is we're going to rub the butter and the flour together until it looks like breadcrumbs. This may take about 5 minutes, so I think we'll kind of rush through this for you because I don't think you want to watch this for 5 minutes. So I think we'll fast forward this. There you go. See, it looks like breadcrumbs now. I don't have any clumps of butter. What I can do is I can put this together and it'll clump up, but then I can break it right back apart. So it looks like breadcrumbs now. Now we're going to add our 58 grams of powdered sugar. And we need to sift it, so I'm just going to put it in a sifter. Just put it in the sieve there, and we're just going to sift it in. This is a real simple recipe. Your kids can make this, and so simple and easy. So take my spatula here, and we're going to mix this in. This may take a couple minutes, and we're going to mix this in till we want to make sure to really get these ingredients combined well to make for a better cookie. So I'll get this combined. So what we're going to add to this is 1 egg yolk and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to combine these together and use my tiny little whisk because it's such a small amount. So I have this little tiny whisk and we'll just whisk this together. And this enriches and gives a little flavor to our shortbread cookie. We're going to add this in. And we're going to stir this until it's totally combined, and it will come together. You're going to be stirring this thinking there's just not enough liquid to make this come together into a dough. But give it about, again, another 5 minutes, and it will come together as a dough. So we're going to keep on mixing this until we get it to clump up into a dough. It is starting to clump together now into a dough. I will show you how it just keeps on clumping together now. There. Just kind of put it together. It's coming into a dough now. So it's time to get it on our board. Get some of these pieces that fell out on me. So I need some flour here. We'll put it on our board here. There we go. And now we're just going to take our dough here. We're just going to kind of form it into a ball. It's amazing how it will still take some more flour. So we're going to kind of smash it down. but I need a piece of saran wrap. So I have here some saran wrap, also known as cling wrap. We're going to put our dough on that. Get another piece here. So we're just going to smash this down with our hands, and we're going to roll this out to about 1/4 inch or a little over about 5 millimeters. And how I use a guide is I have these painting sticks from the hardware store that I've cleaned up, and they are exactly 1/4 inch thick. So I use these as my guide for knowing when I get to 1/4 inch thick on my dough. So we're going to roll this out between our cling wrap here. There we go. Now, because these are 1/4 inch thick, now I know my dough is flat and it's all 1/4 inch thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it to this baking sheet to keep it flat. Just kind of close it up here. We need to chill this dough, so I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. My dough is nice and cold, and it's nice and flat, and it's still 1/4 inch thick. So I have here a fluted round cutter, and it's about 2 1/4 inches in diameter, or 58 millimeters in diameter. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out as many rounds as we can out of this first cut, because the more I work with this dough, the tougher it kind of gets. So we're going to make as many cuts as we can. So there's our first 12 rounds, and now we're going to take this tiny little heart cookie cutter, tiny little guy, and we're just going to use the flat side, and we're going to try and cut little heart holes in the middle of each one. There. And we're going to add this to our other dough. Our little hearts are all cut out. So these are the bottom pieces and these will be the top pieces. Now I don't want these cookies to spread as they bake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them back in the refrigerator for about 5 minutes, and then it's time to bake them. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. We're going to bake these for 10 to 15 minutes. And they're not going to turn brown or anything. They're still going to be very light in color. We don't want these to turn brown. So 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and they are finished baking. You don't want these to turn brown, but the edges, when they just start turning a little bit of shade of brown, they just get a little bit of shade in there, and the camera probably won't pick it up, then you know they're done, because you don't want these to turn brown actually. And a lot of times your heart will kind of spread into itself and you won't have this nice crisp looking heart. So what I take is my little heart cutter, and I put it in there and I cut it. There we go. And take that little piece out. Don't worry, I'll eat those little crumbs. Anyway, that way you got a nice crisp little heart. So I'm going to go through each one of these. Just make sure I have a nice looking heart. And there's the last one. You want to make sure when you do this little extra cut, you do it while the cookies are still warm, so they don't break. So now it's time to get them off the baking sheet here. I find it easier to do that while they're still on the baking sheet. Put them on the cooling rack there. We're going to let these cool completely, and then it's time to put in our splat of raspberry filling in the middle. Okay, our cookies are totally cooled, and I've put them together. Well, actually, I have a bottom and a top here together. And I have here some raspberry jam. And the reason why I'm putting in raspberry jam is Valentine's Day is coming up, and this is my husband's favorite jam. And since I'm making heart cookies here, I thought I'd put in some raspberry jam, his favorite. So I have here my cookies. I have a bottom and a top. And what I like to do is because the tops sometimes kind of create a little dome. And so what I like to do is turn them over. And there you'll see they're a little bit brown on the bottoms. That's okay. The jam's going to cover that up. So I'm just going to turn all these over. And then we're going to take about 1 teaspoon of jam. and put it right there in the middle. And then, oh, I do like to spread it out just a little bit. Let me get my spoon back out of here. I do spread it out just a little bit, just kind of get it evenly splatted on there. They talk about a splat of jam. So there's my splat. I'm going to take the top with the heart and just kind of nestle it on there. And it's okay if a little bit of the jam comes out. We just don't want it really coming out the edges too much, but it does come out the edges a little bit. So I'm going to put that aside, and we're going to fill each one of these. Okay, all of our cookies are put together. We have our 2 shortbread cookies and our raspberry jam filling and the little heart right there. Now we need to put these in the refrigerator for about an hour, and actually if you leave them there overnight, they're even better tomorrow. But we're going to taste one now, make sure they're okay. I'll just take this one and take a bite of it. These shortbread cookies are having a nice crispness and a nice softness to them, but they're also so buttery good. And then that jam in there comes through. These are so good. These are so simple, but so delicious. Your kids and your family are going to love them. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com, and there is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for future videos. I hope this recipe inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching.